Okay. Alright. Traffic fatalities and underage drinking. They've gone hand in hand throughout time because so many bad decisions have been made off of alcohol. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates the 21-year-old law reduced fatalities by 13% since 1986. Now, that means 28,000 lives have been saved due to this law. Now, it came into place due to a spike in drunk driving throughout the 70s and 80s. The Mothers Against Drunk Driving, they came together and they met and they eventually they have pushed Congress to enact this law. Now, it's interesting. This law in some states was pushed earlier than others, but by 1986, all states had to have enacted the minimum age to 21 in order to receive their 10% of their federal highway funding. Now, drinking impacts on an early brain. This is when you're going through your adolescence phase, about 14 to about 20. This interferes with your frontal lobe specifically and your prefrontal cortex. That's your judgment, decision-making part of your brain. In essence, your brain slows down a lot. Chronically, some problems that result from this are addiction, risky behavior, bad decision-making, once again, relates to the drunk driving fatalities, memory loss, depression, violence, and lastly, suicide. Now, drinking for a young adult's brain. This one, I think, relates to college-age students the most, in that it still interferes with your frontal lobes, but your emotional state deteriorates a lot. You'll see people that either are erratic, they're just edgy, they don't want to be talked to, sad, depressed. And this also comes down to planning and organization as well. Those skills, your organization and planning skills, they deteriorate because you're just not, your brain is not wanting to do anything. You're stuck. A good example of this is bad grades. Bad grades result from not putting in the work. And these aren't as severe as abusing alcohol as when your brain is in an early phase, but they can get out of control. They can lead to further problems if you continue to drink and eventually become addicted to alcohol. Responsibility. Not all 18-year-olds can handle alcohol. Underage drinking was a problem, is a problem, and will continue to be a problem. In 2011, 189,000 minors went to the emergency room for alcohol abuse. That number represents why not all 18-year-olds should be able to drink legally. In order to protect many underage minors safe, they have to keep it at 21 because there will just be too much easy access, and it will just lead to more madness. The trickle-down effect. Some high school seniors will be able to purchase alcohol from minors. This is because, for example, if I was a senior in high school, I would have been able to buy alcohol because my birthday's in September for about 6 months. So I can't say that I would do that, but that's just an example of what can happen. And eventually that alcohol will find its way into a middle schooler's hands because those older kids will get it easier and they'll be able to get it to, let's say, 13, 14-year-olds that just want a beer. And then this leads to drugs as well because, if you're already able to get your hands on alcohol that early, you probably will be able to find something else. Also, an economy is impacted. The police departments will not make as much money, which it doesn't really necessarily impact everyone else, but cops will not have as much money going through because they will not be writing as many citations. Thank you. And that was my speech.